Okay, welcome on into the Falls Count Anywhere podcast. Charlie Turner here, along with Chris DiCarlo, of course, and John Restino. Gentlemen, we are into the month of May. It is May 6th of 2023. We are seeing some sunshine here in Western New York. We're thawing out. But if anybody wants to cut my backyard, man, my grass is like growing up past my freaking knees. I haven't had a chance to get out there yet. So anybody that's listening that wants to volunteer to cut the lawn, I probably won't pay you, but it would be awesome if you came by and did that. Great.
We got that great sponsor, right? Lawn service too.
That's right, Patriot Landscaping. Shout out to them for getting me started in my backyard there. They did a great job. Yep. So, but guys, as we are in the month of May, we are coming up on all kinds of wrestling. We got Backlash pay-per-view tonight. We got some other stuff to talk about. We got a new world title to discuss later on in the show that WWE unveiled. But right now, what we want to get into, our guest today is a Andre the Giant superfan, if you will. And he's going to have an exhibit at the Herb Simmons SICW event on May 13th at the Aviator Hotel. He's going to have an Andre the Giant exhibit that you could walk up and see all kinds of Andre the Giant memorabilia. And this man that we're bringing on today may be an expert when it comes to Andre the Giant. There he is there. And he is our guest today. He is Mr. Chris Owens. Chris, thank you so much for joining us on the Falls Count Anywhere podcast. How's it going today, man?
It's going great. I appreciate you guys having me on your show. I look forward to talking about Andre.
Us as well, man. We, as we were talking a little bit before we started recording here, some of our past guests, some of the stories of Andre the Giant that we've heard is always fascinating, man. The drinking stories, the guy was tipping over cars. One thing I wanted to ask you about right off the top, Chris, there was a story where, and I don't know how the accuracy of it, if I'm getting it right, but there was about this might have happened before he came to America, if I have this correct, where he was in a bar and four guys in the bar were kind of messing with him. He waited for them to go out to their car and then he went outside and tipped the car over with all four of them in it. Is that accurate?
I thought it was 6 or 8 guys, but no.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, you hear all sorts of those stories over the years, and whether they're true or not, it's hard to validate, because the individuals aren't around to state that. But the one thing that was true, that Andre was very strong. So could he tip up or lift over a small car? I'm sure he could. Absolutely. Yeah. Whether or not it actually happened outside the bar, we'll never know.
We'll never know, right? Well, Chris, what was it? What got you in so much into Andre? Was it just the appeal of his larger than life persona? What got you so much into Andre and to where you are today, where you have an actual exhibit at the Herb Simmons show? It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I became a pro wrestling fan back in around 1980 when I was, about 7 years of age. And, everything about the sport I just loved. The characters, the athleticism, the storylines, even at a young age, those just, they drew me in. And it wasn't much long after watching it on TV that, I saw Andre in the magazines, like a lot of the fans. And it was just something about the wrestler himself that I wanted to learn more about. He looked different than all the other wrestlers. The stories they wrote in magazines were larger than life. And I just wanted to learn more about the man behind the wrestler, because I knew he'd had a career before he came to the States. He was over in Europe for many years, but we didn't get a lot of that coverage at the time in the U.S. magazines. So as I got older, going into the late 80s, early 90s, tape trading was a big thing. And so I started trading tapes with people all over the country, getting tapes of him from Japan, some of his early days in Europe, and also getting more magazines and programs of events that he participated. So I kind of learned his backstory. And again, as the convention started to unroll, then you got to meet some of the legends and talk to them firsthand about their stories of working with him and get to know them as friends. And you kind of piece that all together. And as a fan, I just, that's a passion of mine. And so it's been over 40 years that I've been, a fan of Andre's, collecting memorabilia of his career all over the country.
Cool.
So, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Do you have a favorite piece of memorabilia that you own of his?
I have a lot of pieces, mainly through his career, some personal owned pieces of his that he had. One I'll show you this morning for your viewers that I think is pretty cool, because he had a real close relationship with Antonio Inoki. He worked with him from 1974 till like 1986. He was touring in New Japan. And when Inoki had his 30th anniversary in 1990, he invited about 7 or 8 guys he felt were more of the influential wrestlers of his career into an in-ring ceremony. You know, you had Billy Robinson, Stan Hansen, Hiro Matsuda, Andre, and Gama Singh. And here's a photograph of the night that Andre was in the ring with Inoki.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
One of the gifts that Inoki gave all these wrestlers was this kind of plaque that commemorated their time in New Japan. And this was the actual plaque that Inoki gave Andre that night. And you can see video online when he gives this award to Andre.
That's awesome.
Well,
yeah. And so knowing that what that meant to Andre was a really cool piece to have.
Wow, that is pretty sweet. Now, oh, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Kind of sounds like my personal
Oh, you froze there, Chris.
My personal DVD minus art collection, Chris, of my footage since I've been a fan since 1980. I was 5 years old, but not having a DVR or a VHS until 86. But the footage I've gotten over the years, and Andre the Giant from Montreal as Jean Yaffer, or however you pronounce it there, against Mad Dog Vachon, and all of those matches are just great to have too.
Absolutely. And, you know, when we first started watching Andre in the United States, he wrestled one style. And I assumed as a kid, that's how he wrestled, just as a giant, you know, kind of a slow, short match, building up to a quick finish. But, you know, like you said, those tapes in Japan, he wrestled a completely different style. And in Montreal, obviously, he was younger. He was, you know, not as heavy as he eventually got. And so he could wrestle a lot more athletic type of match.
Mid-Atlantic, world class. Yeah, he wasn't as big then as later on.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and unfortunately passing away in his 40s, which was very tragic. He had that disease where he just kept growing, and very, very scary stuff. And unfortunately took his life eventually. But Chris, did you ever get a chance to meet Andre the Giant?
You know, I saw him in person a few times in the late 80s. It was around 87 to 89, I think it was. The closest I got was about 6 feet away from him one night after the matches. And I was 16 years old. I so wanted to go up and introduce myself. I wasn't sure what I was going to say, but he had a look like he wasn't going to want to talk to any fans. He wanted to get out of the arena.
Playing the heel.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, well, I'll catch him next month when he gets here. And I just never had that chance again. So that was one of the regrets I had. Even if he shooed me away, at least I could have approached him. But
right. Yeah, I mean, being intimidated. Yeah, being intimidated by a guy that's over 7 foot tall and 400 plus pounds. I mean, geez, there's no shame in that, right?
He was a sight to behold for the fans who got to see him in person, because watching him on TV or seeing him in magazines was one thing, but when you saw him in person, like it just put things in perspective.
Yeah, I had a chance once when they used to do wrestling here in Niagara Falls. It was the Niagara Falls Convention Center, which is now a casino. This was back in the late 80s, early 90s at one point, I believe it was, somewhere in there. And about the same as you, I didn't have a chance to talk to Andre. He was walking down the aisle to go to a match, but I had ringside seats that day, about 10 years old. So it was probably about 1987, 88. And he was wrestling on Big John Studd that night. And when they both walked by down the aisle, I mean, first you see Big John Studd, you're like, holy cow, he's huge. And then Andre comes through and it's like, holy cow, this dude is even bigger. I mean, you knew, right? But then when you see him in real life, it was like, holy shit, man, this guy is absolutely gigantic. And the funny thing, not funny thing, but one of the things that I've always heard about Andre was there was the one guy that I don't want to say feared, but respected enough to never mess with was Haku. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I know they tagged together, the Colossal Connection. But I always heard the story that Andre never really messed with Haku because Haku was so damn tough that he was the one guy that maybe Andre even wouldn't mess with. I don't know if you know any truth behind that.
Yeah, the one thing I've learned about Andre from his close friends was he always respected those wrestlers who respected the business. It wasn't so much a matter if somebody was tough or not. It was about how they held themselves up outside the ring. And he was always professional. And, he liked to have fun in the evenings or, before the matches. But when the bell rang, he was all professional. And one of the things that I often heard from other guys was he just did not like when the boys would get in trouble in the small towns because, it would hurt the reputation of the promotion next month when they would come back. And so if they were going to go out, he wanted them to act a certain way, be on time was a big thing for him, be in the arena ready to go. And so, yeah, Haku was one of the guys he always respected. Harley Race was another baseball guy that he really respected. And even in Japan, he worked with Carl Gotch and Billy Robinson in the early 70s. And I'm sure, that would have been a great, training experience for him working with those guys and traveling with them and, European wrestlers getting together and old catch wrestling.
Do you, Chris, do you know any truth to, we also love the great Iron Sheik. We know Andre kind of threw him around a bit, whether it was personal or not. Any truth to that?
The only thing I've heard about that is that, Iron Sheik sometimes would take liberties in the ring with some of the younger wrestlers, maybe not as experienced in amateur wrestling. And so he could take liberties with them in the ring to an extent. Andre didn't really appreciate that. So at times, there was a famous match they show, I think it was from the Nassau Coliseum, when Andre and Sheik went against each other in '84, and Andre didn't sell it all during that match. And you could see he wrestled pretty snug with them. And that final segment where he lifts Kimchi and goes to drop him on Iron Sheik, and he just haphazardly dropped him right on Iron Sheik's face. It was brutal.
Oh, man.
And you could see Sheik was pretty upset when he left that ring. He went straight back to the locker room. And you look at Andre's face, he probably realized what he did, but you could just tell he didn't care.
That's hilarious. And that's the thing. And I'm sure you've seen it, Chris, the documentary that HBO had on Andre the Giant. I loved it because the Iron Sheik was one of the guys, also the Macho Man with the no baby oil.
Mm-hmm.
He hated the Macho Man, from what I understand, correct?
Yeah, he did. And, I was fortunate enough to work as an associate producer for that documentary back in 2018 on HBO.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so the main producers got a hold of me early on, and they were talking about, well, who do we need to talk to like paint this story? And so I gave them several names. Most of them made the cut. And there was a lot of wrestlers that kind of came up that, we learned that Andre didn't really care much for. The baby oil was one reason. The other reason was that, Randy didn't have the best reputation of treating Elizabeth respectfully in the life. He was pretty overprotective, maybe paranoid. And I don't think
that.
And Andre wasn't alone. There was a lot of wrestlers that have spoken up over the years saying that, Liz was kind of controlled a little bit too much.
In the locker room. Yeah, we heard that over the years. That wasn't right. I have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, a different time in wrestling for sure. And Chris, let me ask you this. How did you get hooked up with Herb Simmons and to be able to be a part of his show and what's going on there?
I met Herb many years ago in Waterloo, Iowa. There's a Hall of Fame that they hold there once a year. And Herb has come up to that several years. Of course, Herb's run the successful promotion of SICW for many years in Southern Illinois. And I got to meet him one year and started talking to him. And the Hall of Fame in Waterloo had asked me to do an Andre exhibit, 5-6 years ago. And so I started doing a yearly exhibit up there. And, Herb had talked about, one day possibly doing something down in one of his promotional events. So this event came up, and, what better venue to have over 50 legends. Most of those guys that are going to be there were in the ring with Andre or they knew Andre. So this will be a great supplement to the day.
Yeah, we've had Mr. Simmons on our show. He's a great guy. He's also a shout out to him, right? Hi, Herb. He supports and watches our show every week, and we wish we could be there in person next week as well. But we know a friend of ours from Bumps and Dumps, Brian Ferguson, is also going to be there too.
Yeah, Herb is a great guy, and we could talk about professionalism is one of the tops. I have seen him and I've heard stories about it. Just nothing but the best.
Yeah, he was a very, very generous guest with us. And like Chris mentioned, he comments a lot on when we post our podcast. He'll throw a comment in there. We truly appreciate that. True legend of wrestling behind the scenes, if you will, Herb Simmons. But let me ask you this, Chris. So, okay, now when I was looking at your Facebook profile, you had a picture there with the Big Show. So dream match, everybody always talks about Andre versus the Big Show. Who do you got there, man?
Oh, wouldn't that have been a match?
Yeah, really.
I think they could have run that storyline for months, if not a year, between those kids, and maybe not have a concise winner or conclusive winner for that match. You could do countouts, you could do double DQs on that. But I think depending on what point of Andre's career, if it was towards the end, it would have been a great opportunity to pass that on to Big Show. Because Big Show when he was at my house that, I had kind of lost interest in pro wrestling after Andre had passed away. And, it just wasn't the same for this fan. But when he came along, he ran with it. And, what he could do in the ring was superior to what Andre could do. He was more athletic. I didn't particularly care for the way that they sold his character early on. I think he was taking too many bumps, leaving his feet too much, and he agreed with that. But he was trying to find his role in the sport. But man, he did a great job, and his career was second to none.
I thought the storyline when they first brought him in with Bischoff in WCW there in '95, the son of Andre. I mean, I thought that was a great gimmick, but they also didn't keep with that either.
They didn't
singlet on him and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did that maybe too fast. They could have done a slow rollout on that a little bit.
I've seen his daughter has been on the scene, at functions like you're going to with Herb Simmons and that. And I've seen her talking to Mr. Bill Apter from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. So do you talk?
I have actually not met her. There is a big event going on in August out in Ellerbe, North Carolina. And they're calling it a giant celebration because that's where Andre lived, obviously, when he was off the road. And Robin's going to be there as part of the celebration. I'm hoping to make it out there and hopefully get a chance to finally meet her. But yeah, they're going to have other guests and wrestlers from that area that worked with Andre and close friends of his too.
Yeah, we certainly know about Waterloo. I've been trying to go for the past 2 years. A friend of our show, too, Mr. Jannard Soli, has something to do with there. And hopefully 1 year we'll get out there.
It's worth the trip if you can make it out there. It is an awesome organization. It is one of the most fan-friendly weekends, wrestling events that I've been to. And they
laid back. You can talk to each other. It's not like a cost.
No, it is very open all weekend long.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I'll tell you some of the other I guess dream matchups, if you will, that I would love to have seen. I mean, Andre, of course, we lost him. I think it was '93, if I have that right. And the first ever inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. But man, some of the dream matches that I've thought of over the years, like when the Great Khali was around, Andre and Great Khali. Now, kind of a sloppier wrestler was Giant Gonzalez, but man, he was freaking huge. I mean, he was even taller than Andre.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that. I mean, just the hand sizes alone in some of these guys. I don't know if you've probably seen it, Chris, but there's a picture of I'm not sure where this is at, but they have an imprint of Andre's hand size, and there's a picture of Brock Lesnar putting his hand into Andre's hand, and it's not even close. Brock Lesnar is huge, but the hand size of Andre just dwarfs Brock Lesnar. I mean, talk about another dream match. But there's no way Andre's going to Suplex City. I mean, he's just way too big, right?
No, not if he didn't want to.
Right.
That's true. Like the end of WrestleMania 3 there, we've heard so many stories about that. If he didn't want to sell to Hogan, he wasn't going to.
Yeah, and knowing how bad his back was at that time, and for him to leave his feet and land on his back, and if you watch closely, he kind of tilted a little bit, and Hulk helped to protect him too, so he could land a little bit on his side, but he was hurting really bad in that match. But speaking of his hand size, and we're talking Big Show a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
One of the things I have in my collection is an x-ray of Andre's actual hand that he had to get when he was getting ready for his back surgery following WrestleMania 3 over in England. And so I had that on for Big Show to look at when he came to our house, and the camera crew wanted to film that. They're like, "Oh, this will be great. Put your hand up next to it." And Big Show started laughing. He's like, "First of all, turn the camera off. Let me see." And he put his hand down, and it was almost as wide as Andre's, but not nearly as long. And he's like, "No way, this is going to kill my gimmick."
Oh, wow.
So they got a little clip of it. I think they used as a teaser for a trailer. But yeah,
wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah, and Gonzalez. There was a rumor right before Andre passed away that they were going to have Andre bring Gonzalez out for the Royal Rumble in '93 as kind of his manager, and here was this new giant protege that he had.
Wow, that would have been a good storyline.
Yeah, that would have been very cool.
And right before that, Andre had gotten called that his dad was in bad health, and he had to go back over to France, and it nicked that storyline.
Wow. And you got to wonder too. I mean, like some of just on the human level with Andre, that infamous picture of him on the plane, he's like taking up 3 seats. I'm sure hotel rooms. Yeah, I'm sure there were plenty of hotel rooms that didn't have beds big enough for him. I mean, think about being that size and going through life, ducking through doorways and squeezing into cars, and then you get all the attention just from people because you're so huge, and then you're famous. It had to be overwhelming for him.
Yeah, and I remind fans too when we talk about topics like that. Back in the 70s, 80s, in a sense, it was a smaller world. There wasn't these big luxury SUVs that he could just hop in anytime. The cars were smaller, especially over in Japan. The taxis were very tiny. There's plenty of photos. You see him army crawling into the back seat of a taxi because he had to lay sideways in those back seats. The phones, old rotary phones, he'd have to use a pencil to have to try to dial them. It was just a different time for those really big wrestlers traveling all over the country.
Yeah, they're not the luxuries that are out there today. I mean, look at guys like Shaquille O'Neal, right? He's got things custom made to him because he's so damn huge.
Private planes, and they stretch out. Absolutely.
The story we got from Mr. Johnny Rods, as we talked about before we got on camera here, was that he used to pick him up at the airport in Rods's Cadillac. So can you imagine that?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories of guys picking Andre up at the airport and having to put that front seat back as far as they possibly could, and those old Lincoln Continentals and whatever they could get to pick him up.
And then having to buy a case of wine on the way to the hotel so he can, have an appetizer, right?
Always on ice. Yep.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Just great. We love
drinking stories, man. Unbelievable. Well, again, Chris, I want to reiterate the event coming up on May the 13th. Again, that is the SICW event there on May 13th. It's under Herb Simmons. And, the fans can come and see that Andre the Giant exhibit that you're going to have up there. But also, I mean, some of the talent some of the legends that are going to be there. I mean, JBL, the Nasty Boys, Haku, Ted DiBiase, Jimmy Hart, John Nord, the Berserker. There's just so many. The Barbarian that I've seen on there. If you have a chance, if you're in that area, go check it out. I wish we were closer because, man, I would be there in a heartbeat because, holy cow, what an event that's going to be, Chris. And you're going to be able to meet all those guys, I assume, correct?
It's going to be an awesome opportunity for me. It's the biggest lineup I've seen in the Midwest since I've lived here. And to be playing a very small role amongst those greats, it's an awesome privilege for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We'll be posting that information on the Falls Count Anywhere Facebook page as we come closer to the event here. We're just a week away, so we'll be throwing that up on our page. If you're interested, if you're in that area, if you're not in that area, whatever the case, want to make a road trip, we'll post the ticket information. If you want to go meet Chris Owens and check out the Andre the Giant exhibit, including that plaque that you were showing us, which is pretty awesome from Japan. I'm sure it's just the tip of the iceberg of what you got there. But Chris, I can't thank you enough, man, for hanging out with us for a little while and talking about the legendary Andre the Giant.
Hey, this was fun, and I really appreciate you having me on your show.
We appreciate your time.
Welcome back anytime. If you want to follow up on the event itself, you're more than welcome to come back and tell us about the experience as well.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks again.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. All right, Mr. Chris Owens. Again, he'll be at the Herb Simmons event there on May 13th at the Andre the Giant exhibit. So again, if you're in that area, if you're not in that area and you want to take a roadie out there and check it out, it should be pretty awesome stuff. We just need a bus driver and a little bit of money. We could get out there, right, guys? And then we'll go check that out.
Right. But maybe more than 12 hours away to pass Waterloo, but yeah, we can do it in a day.
Hey, we got to go on on a tour or something,
I have to go on an Instacart tour all the way down to.
There you go. Deliver all the way over, right?
Yeah.
The Piggly Wigglies and the Shoplites and the Albertsons and all that, right? Yeah, I remember all that great stuff.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, let's check in with our sponsors real quick here. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with our chic tweets and whatnot, and we'll be right back.
Digits 988 can save a life. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides connection to free confidential support. There is hope. The Lifeline works. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988.
All right, welcome back to the Falls Count Anywhere podcast. Thank you again to our sponsors for contributing to the show. Charlie, Chris, and John here all with you. And again, thank you to Chris Owens for hanging out with us for a little while and telling us a little bit about Andre the Giant and how he became a super fan of Andre and that exhibit that we're going to see on May 13th next week at the SICW event there at the Aviator Hotel with Herb Simmons and the crew there. So make sure be sure to check that out. But guys, also locally, I wanted to mention too that Monday Night Raw will be returning to Buffalo on July the 17th. And I believe tickets are already on sale for that. So Monday Night Raw making its first appearance in Buffalo in a long time. There's been a lot of SmackDowns here, but it's been a while for Raw. It might even be close to like 10 years since they've been here. So looking forward to that. And guys, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but the WWE, I'm sure you've seen it, has unveiled the new championship title. It is the new World Heavyweight Championship. Now, it looks like a little bit like the big gold that we're so used to seeing, but with a little bit of a WWE spin on it, if you will, with the WWE logo in the middle. I gotta say personally, when they first unveiled it, it took a second to like digest it, and then the more I see this belt, the more I love it, man. I think they did a really good job with this title, and now if they could just upgrade the WWE and the Universal title, maybe another version, a newer version of the Winged Eagle, which would be fantastic. What do you guys think? You guys like that new title belt, Chris? You like that?
Yeah, I like it too. It's of course a spin, like you said, a little spin off the big gold from WCW. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I'd buy it down the road for sure. Absolutely. I don't know what they're gonna do with the other two titles, like you said. So they must be doing, splitting the titles up again. But
yeah. So what they're doing, and Triple H announced this, I believe, a couple days ago. But they're doing a tournament. They're doing two tournaments, one on Raw, one on SmackDown, and it's going to be two triple threat matches on each show. And it's going to start this Monday. So there's going to be two triple threat matches. Those two winners will face each other. They're going to do the same thing on SmackDown, two triple threat matches. Those two winners will face each other. And the winners of those matches will meet at the Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, where a new World Heavyweight Champion will be crowned. Me personally, what I think WWE should do, they'd be foolish not to put this belt on Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins, with the crowd he's got singing in the background, Seth Rollins right now, I think this title needs a baby face. We've had the heel of over almost 1,000 days of Roman Reigns. I'd love to see Seth Rollins personally. My second choice, because I love the guy and I don't feel like they've used him enough, is AJ Styles. Those are one of the two of my choices to see win the title. Do you guys have any preference who you'd like to see win it?
Well, I actually said it should be Cody after they screwed him on WrestleMania 39. But you're right. I agree with AJ Styles and Seth.
I like Seth Rollins. I think there's a part of him that's underutilized. I think he's a really good on the microphone. I think he's the closest thing to CM Punk they have. And I don't know. Something about him I think would be, I agree, would be perfect to bring in this, I guess. Right, this is the new belt he'd hold. So
I would love it. I would love to see that. Like I said, they get the crowd singing during his match. They're singing his entrance music while he's wrestling, and he's just got the crowd eating out of his hand right now. I think they'd be crazy. Now, the thing with Cody that you mentioned, Chris, I think Cody, it'd be a way to crown him with a title belt, but I'd love to see him still chase Roman Reigns. And, somebody's got to defeat Roman Reigns sooner or later. So
that's just like you're building up Jade Cadgill or Coggill, however you pronounce it.
Jade Cargill, yeah.
On AEW as the women's champion. I mean, come on. They can't hold it forever. I mean, this is pro wrestling.
Yeah, she's been impressive. She gets better every week. And dream match there, again, for me would be Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Both are in phenomenal shape. Both are great in the ring, great on the mic. I would love to see that. But yeah, it should be interesting to see how this tournament shakes out and who they crown and put that title belt on, because I think we'd all agree we love the belt, and I think it should go to a baby face because you got the heel run on SmackDown there. And then there's been some confusion too, people saying, well, if it's exclusive to Raw, why are they having a SmackDown tournament to win it? I would assume if somebody from SmackDown wins it, they would just go to Raw and represent as the champion.
Or just have it defended on both shows. It would be a good idea.
They can do that too. Yeah.
You know, it'd be a dream matchup for me. I'd love to see is Rollins win and somehow, some way, CM Punk comes back.
Oh
I
man.
those two would be such a. I mean, because Punk's a great, obviously the way he is. I think Rollins is right there with him. I would really love to see that. I don't know if Punk ever shows up anywhere ever again, but I wish they could pay him enough.
CM Punk was kicked out of Monday Night Raw. He was backstage at Raw a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
And Vince McMahon ended up kicking him out from what I've read on the dirt sheets there. Vince McMahon said, no, get the hell out of here. But apparently Triple H
McMahon fired him on his wedding day.
Right.
That's why that shit to bed. I mean, I'd be pissed too if you did that to me on my wedding day, right?
Makes you wonder why he showed back up there, though. What made him want to go backstage at Raw? I mean, he's always talked trash about WWE since he's been with AEW. And
maybe Triple H. Who knows?
Who knows? There might be something working there. But and on a side note, and I shouldn't say side note, but on another note with that is he might return to AEW as they're trying to fill Wembley Stadium for their event in August. According to Chris Jericho, they have about 50 to 60,000 tickets sold already out of an 80,000 seat stadium. So good for AEW to. I'm one of those people that I think if wrestling is successful, no matter what company it is, that's a good thing. I mean, I know there's people that love to choose sides, and I've seen like, oh, you're a WWE fanboy and you're just an AEW mark, and so what? Just like both shows, it's okay, and enjoy wrestling. There was a sign once within the past year, somebody had a sign in the crowd that said, "Just enjoy wrestling," and I can't agree with that more. I hope to see success out of both of them because it just makes the industry. It just helps the industry all together. So,
right, you got the NWA with Billy Corgan on Fight TV and YouTube. You got all kinds of independent.
Yeah, MLW now on TV, and so yeah, it's the more wrestling the better, and you want to see it be successful no matter what the organization is. And there's even rumors that Drew McIntyre, his contract might be up with WWE, and there's rumors that they're not going to re-sign him. Might see him show up at Wembley Stadium for AEW. Being from that area of the world, that would be a huge pop. It'd be a huge lift for AEW. I'd love to see that. So very interesting stuff, guys. And then, of course, before we get to our Chic tweets, just want to mention, of course, tonight we got the Backlash pay-per-view, which is going to be taking place in Puerto Rico. Talk about a great crowd last night for SmackDown. They were electric, and it should be more of the same tonight. The main event being Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. I'm not all the way invested in that, with Bad Bunny and that whole spiel there, but the crowd reaction to him last night, he did show up to help out Rey Mysterio. He showed up with the LWO, the revival of the Latino World Order. And the crowd went nuts for Bad Bunny. So I'm assuming that's going to be the main event tonight against Damian Priest. And he does have some athletic skill. He's not a bum, but just can't get into it like maybe the fan base there can. But should be an interesting pay-per-view.
Horrible name, right? Bad Bunny.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're
sort of
money
out there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's stupid.
I know, guys. But hey, what this show to bring levity to this show every week, guys. We got to check in with the Iron Sheik. I had a nice special edition of Sheik tweets, if you will, because it's all based off of his hate of Hulk Hogan this week, and so. He went maybe once or twice ever since we started the show. Maybe once or twice ever has gone a week without mentioning Hogan. But he was on fire this week mentioning the Hulkster. John, what do you got there for us, man? Plain and simple. Fuck the Hulk Hogan. Now, Bovada asked the question. Now, and today is race day, the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
What would be your Kentucky Derby horse name? For the Sheik, it would be fuck the Hulk Hogan. Down the stretch he comes. Fuck the Hulk Hogan by a nose.
That'd be great.
How more plain and simple can you get, right? I mean, somebody said that on your sports show last night, right, John? Was that a hockey player or something?
Oh, yeah. The Leafs goalie told I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, plain and simple, though, honest.
Yeah.
Hey.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. All right, let's see what we got here. Here's next.
Oh, okay. He took a poll.
Oh.
Here, and I went with. I see the check mark there. I clicked on all the above. But over 5,000 votes, and there's still some time left. If you're watching this right now, and on Saturday here, you could jump over to Twitter and vote. But America runs on what? Fucking jabronis, Dunkin' Donuts, fuck the Hulk Hogan, all the above.
Yeah, I like the all the above.
All the above, yeah. Because Dunkin' Donuts, that's their thing, right? And then of course we got to throw Hogan and the jabronis in there as well.
The jabronis, yeah.
Just great. Just great.
Well,
All right, let me see what else we got here. Hold on, guys. Okay.
And upon further review, Hulk Hogan is still a dumb son of a bitch. So I don't know if you missed the instant replay on this, or if there's an instant replay happening in a game, and the Sheik just said, "Hey, upon further review, yeah, Hulk Hogan is still a dumb son of a bitch." He piling on the Hulkster there.
Or if you ever go back and watch that January 23rd, 1984 match, Madison Square Garden, I guess that goes with it too.
That's right. Yep.
It does. This one here, I'll bring it up. Hold on.
And of course, if you can read the Sheik's mind, if you can read my mind, you would know Hulk Hogan is a jabroni. I love you, Gord Bubba. So he gives a shout out to Gordon Lightfoot. Rest in peace to Mr. Gordon Lightfoot, Canadian guitarist, legendary, who just passed away. But of course, he had to throw in a Hulk Hogan insult on that. So, and to make it clear, I can speak maybe for all of us. I love the Hulkster, man. It's just fun to hear the Sheik go off on him. Since 1984, he's hated the guy, and I just watched a recent clip of the Sheik on Howard Stern from years ago, back in the early 2000s, and it was funny. I came across this, I don't even know how, but the Sheik mentioned, Howard Stern asked him straight out, "Why do you hate Hulk Hogan?" And I never heard this answer, but he said that Hulk Hogan came up to him twice in public back at that time, late 90s, early 2000s. Said, "Sheik, I love you, man. We got to get in touch. We got to get together. I'd like to have you come down to Florida, this and that." And the Sheik just started going off. He goes, "Twice this no good jabroni tell me he go call me, and he doesn't call me. He's no good." And then he just starts going off about how he hates Hulk Hogan. He's a no good piece of garbage because he never called him and all this stuff. So very, very funny. But yeah, it's just we get a lot of entertainment out of that. But if you ever have a chance to check out those old Howard Stern shows with the Sheik, just type in Howard Stern Iron Sheik, and you'll be entertained for hours.
Oh yes, for sure. It's and the midget too. I can't think of with the Superman outfit. The Sheik goes off on him too. It's classic.
Was that the Haiti kid? Was that the Haiti kid there? Oh no, no, you're talking about. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The dude has got like 2 teeth or whatever. He's on
yeah, he looks like the Haiti kid.
Yeah, Beetlejuice, maybe. Yeah,
that's it, John. Yes, Beetlejuice. The Sheik goes off on him a few times.
There was one time that I was watching where they had, I don't know what the guy's name. His name was Eric, but he's a big, heavy guy. He came in pretending to be Andre the Giant, and kept saying, "I'm Andre," and Sheik had a fit. And "You're not Andre," he said, and he kept saying, "Yes, I am," and it was just a circus. But some of the funniest shit. You're right. Watch it. You'll go down a rabbit hole of fun.
There's even a Iron Sheik impersonator on one of the shows that ends up calling in while Sheik is there. So the impersonator is going back and forth with the real Sheik, and it just sounds like this big like Iranian fight going on the air. It's freaking hilarious. So
that's
shout out to the Sheik.
Real quick, that reminds me of, you guys ever see, of course, I don't know if John's seen, you got to look it up, and Robin, at NWA TNA when Jay Lethal and Ric Flair did it. Well, that was
the woo-off. Yeah,
I saw that. That was
woo-off. Yeah, that was just a classic.
Jay Lethal sounds exactly like Ric Flair. It's so funny, man. Good stuff. That's a good call. A guy that WWE almost signed somewhat recently, but then they decided not to. Again, rumor. But Jay Lethal was being considered by WWE at one point, but never happened. So, yeah, funny stuff, man. Funny stuff. But all right, guys. So let's. I guess we're gonna get into our wheelhouse here with the clips. Correct?
Yes, as I do, right, each and every week, I say I do not sell any of this footage. It is my own personal collection. I have a full few clips each and every week here for us to enjoy on the show. And I believe our first clip should be of our, dealing with our guest today, Mr. Chris Owens, some classic Andre the Giant footage.
Yep, here we go.
Yes, indeed. As you can see, guys, here, black and white footage. Look at how young and tall Andre the Giant.
Wow. That's the footage, the youngest I've seen him in any footage, Chris. Very good, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still tall, but look at, young and skinny and
agile. Yeah.
And then here we go. As time goes on, this is against Killer Kowalski.
Wow.
And that's him in the background commentating during this match. Killer Kowalski going after the Giant. And here we go, John Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens, 1974, the original Sheik against Andre the Giant.
Oh. Yeah. Look at him. (1974).
And here we are, and within the 70s again. This should be down in Australia of their World Championship Wrestling against Andre here against Big Bad John.
Oh.
And here we're going to see a tag team match from the Indianapolis promotion, WWA.
Oh, Jesus, look at that.
Van
What a
Crump.
salute.
And look at Van Crump's partner here, the Ox.
Van
No
Crump,
mistaking
that was
Ox, not Ox Baker. Yeah.
Van Crump would be banned for life
Yeah.
after that maneuver.
Here he is with Dick the Bruiser, Indianapolis.
Nice.
Oh, there goes trying to attack the Giant.
All right, I'm going to have to step in here real quick. Chris, you had more there, but for some reason it was telling me it was too big, so I'm going to cut that out and I'll make sure I have that little bit for next week. It was just him in Japan, and I was too bad because we were talking about that, but I'll have that part for next week.
No worries, no worries. And we got a couple other clips here.
Hold on, here comes another.
Here we go, guys. This is the man who, as we know, as Kamala, the Ugandan Giant. This is Big Bad Harris.
Oh, here.
Big Bad Harris.
Bad News Harris. Big Bad News Harris here. Started in Southeastern Championship Wrestling, 1980. And then here he is in Australia, as you can tell, starting with the makeup on the face.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
So Big Bad News Harris turned into Kamala, the Ugandan Giant.
Oh,
That's kind of the Kamala we know of today, right?
Yeah.
there he is. Yeah.
Like it.
And this was Memphis territory.
You know, it was funny, and we're talking about Kamala.
Here he is against the King, Jerry Lawler.
Against Jerry Lawler. I saw a recent match against him and George Animal Steel, which was very interesting.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Legendary King, Jerry Lawler, absolutely.
And here, speaking of two tough men, you got Kamala here going after the Barbarian. And that not John Nord, the Barbarian, but the Barbarian.
Yeah.
the double chops to the throat.
And here he is in the Houston territory against somebody we know too, the Hacksaw, Jim Duggan.
Oh, yeah.
God, look how big Hacksaw Jim Duggan is. Jeez. He's a real big
talent, I believe. Yeah, he was a big boy.
Look at him, yeah.
This had to be 84, 85 there in Houston.
He's wearing a mask, isn't he? Yeah.
I think something to do with an eye injury or a nose injury.
Oh.
And then these two giants going at each other, Bruiser Brody and Kamala.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Oh.
The jungles of Uganda.
Yeah.
You know, guys, I forgot about this, and as we were talking about Andre, it made me think of it, and it would have been a great question for Chris. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. I can't really send it. I don't know if you guys can see that picture there. Andre the Giant has a posse, right? So that's a sticker that originated. I saw this online. I'm talking like back in 2008, 2009. I saw this sticker posted. Somebody posted it somewhere. Andre the Giant has a posse, right? So I just pulled it up. Back in 1989, a Rhode Island School of Design student, Shepard Ferry, created Andre the Giant has a posse sticker, which has since gone viral. And it made me think of that. But yeah, I just always thought that was funny. Andre the Giant has a posse. Actually, let me take that back. I first saw it it was stuck to a light pole in downtown Buffalo on Chippewa. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
what? Enter the Giant as a posse. What is this? And ended up looking it up later on and saw the sticker online, but I never knew the backstory. It was from a design student at Rhode Island School of Design. So pretty cool. But anyway.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Awesome. I believe we got one more. Here we are. We call this, guys, I called it the Mad Dogs. There's only 2 Mad Dogs in professional wrestling. And here, John, Mad Dog Vachon.
Yes, sir.
From the fabulous Vachon family.
Oh, what's he doing here? Buying some beer or something? What's going on?
A beer commercial from Canada.
That's awesome.
And here he is against, speaking of a giant, right? Big John Studd.
Big John Studd, absolutely. The first guy since, and if I have this correct, the first guy since Andre to step over the top rope to get into the ring, and that kind of pissed off Andre a little bit.
Yes. And then, of course, some early footage of the other Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. Here he had some hair back in 1979 in Memphis going against actually there he is. That's the Buzz Sawyer everybody knows.
Oh, yeah. Get him in the ring with Hercules, have a chain match or something.
Yeah, and then here he is, a dog collar match, guys, against Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Right.
That's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Dude, that first clip of Andre you showed with him, that thin, man, and like
Yeah.
hair wasn't out to here yet, and he wasn't like the girth that he had when he, as he got older. But wow, that was very good, Chris. That was some great footage, man.
A lot more where that came from.
We know that, right? Absolutely.
Definitely.
In fact,
guys.
we're going to have a great show next week, too, so you guys stay tuned for next week.
Yep.
100%, man. Very cool stuff today, man. Hearing some Andre history and some Andre footage as well. But of course, that's the high side of the spectrum with professional wrestling. There's also the other side of the spectrum with wrestling, and that's our wrestling jobber of the week. As we check in with our weekly jobber this week, it is Mr. Mark Thomas, who looks to be in pretty good shape here, man. Like,
Yeah.
all up, man. Like, put him on the roster. But Mark Thomas had a career record of 0-36. Couldn't even give the guy one win or a draw or nothing. But he had a run from 1987 to 1995, and here he is about to take a shot here from The Undertaker on Wrestling Challenge back in the 90s, if you remember that show on Saturday mornings. And, of course, The Undertaker finishing him off here after a choke slam, and he does tombstone eventually for a victory. But, yeah, Mark Thomas, again, I thought looked to be in pretty good shape. And maybe thought he could have got a little bit of a push there. But instead, he did the job of the jobber and put over the main talent 36 times over an 8-year span. So Mark Thomas, our jobber of the week here on Falls Count Anywhere.
Yeah. If you can get a jobber that's in that good a shape, that's always that's at least better than what we've seen, what you normally are used to, the bowling alley guy.
There, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Well, we come to a close here each and every week. John, we'd like to thank all our fans across all our platforms. Our home here on Facebook is growing, and we thank you for that each and every week. Our Twitter is also growing by leaps and bounds at Count Anywhere. And also we're on Spotify. And last but not least, our YouTube. Friends with the Z there Media Network. You can check out not just our show, Falls Count Anywhere here, but also the other 3 shows that John's with and his sports show, and everything is going good. We're over 50 some subscribers. I know it's a lot, but we got to get to 1,000. So please check us out. And also about the Facebook stars, John.
Yes, if you're watching us right now, and you enjoy our shows and you enjoy Falls Count Anywhere, send us some stars. 99 cents gives us 100 stars. Now on Facebook, the more stars we get, there's a goal we got to hit. We get to that, we then are able to get some advertising opportunities through Facebook. So if we can get enough stars, that gives us opportunity to get advertising through Facebook. Every penny of those stars go right back. Basically, what it's going into right now is to pay for the program we use every month to put the shows out. And then, of course, someday hopefully it gets into maybe some new technology and stuff for us. But either way, 99 cents gives us 100 stars. Major thing is if we get enough stars, we can get some really cool advertising opportunities through Facebook. Thanks, everyone, because a lot of people have sent them in. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, much appreciated to everybody that checks out the show and the comments too. We appreciate the comments. Anybody that leaves them, and hey, they could be bad too. It doesn't have to be all positive and rainbows and all that stuff. If you think we suck or something we could do better, let us know. But we appreciate all the feedback and all the views and all the likes. Much appreciated here for us. So, but guys, do we have a public service announcement for the week as well, John? We like to throw some information out to the public, some helpful information. We are a show of the people, and we love to give this information out.
This month is Mental Health Awareness Month. So 844-794-3812. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on Christmas, any day you need. If you feel depressed, if things are getting a little stressful for you, getting to be too much, money's always tough. I know that and stuff like that. You have horrible anxieties. Call this number 844-794-3812, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, if you're in real distress and you're feeling like you might do something you shouldn't, you feel suicidal, 988. Call that number. It's 3 digits, 988. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, I have talked to someone because of us giving it out here on the show that said they called. This is a great, nice thing we got. They said that those people stayed on the phone with them forever. They were on for like 3 hours. And they're professionals. They're ready to help you. And they made them think. So just give it 988 if you're feeling that suicidal and it's really getting to you. Mental health here, 844-794-3812. They're there also. Please call them. They'll help you get whatever help you need or just talk to you. That's all you need.
Yeah, man, it's a crazy world we're living in these days, and it's not hard to see how some might not be able to cope with day-to-day life with some certain things that go on. There's so many outside things that impact us. It's just crazy, man. 2023 has been a crazy year already. Just strange times we're living in, you know what I mean? So, yeah, don't be bashful, man. If you need help, seek it. But yeah, guys, we'll be coming back next week. We're going to recap the Backlash pay-per-view. The WWE's got going on. And again, we'll provide some information on our site on the Facebook page for the SICW show with Herb Simmons and all of the legends that are going to be there. And of course, Chris Owens with the Andre the Giant exhibit that he's going to have there as well. So again, thank you to Chris for joining us. And gentlemen, again, thank you for another awesome show. Enjoy the nice weather. It's very limited here in Western New York, so enjoy it while we got it. And again, the offer's out there. If anyone wants to cut the grass, maybe I'll just give you like a shout out on the show or something. But it looks like I'll be cutting it myself today. But anyway, guys, again, have a great weekend. And we look forward to next week as well. And take care, guys.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.